Hello and welcome to the third video inside of the fifth module, or fifth lesson I should say, covering the courses module inside your own white label of Decyphor. And we're going to dive into topics. This is going to give us a good understanding of how to choose different topics and what order to do them in, and how to develop this to the point to where the user experience inside the course is congruent and makes sense for the user, so it doesn't feel like they're jumping all over the place, but they're taking a step-by-step approach to continue building upon a foundation. And that's kind of the most important part here with topics, is each topic needs to build upon the prior. And so that takes a little bit of time when you sit down to try and decide how you want to approach building out your course. Any good course is going to make the user feel like they're getting smarter and smarter and smarter as they're going through it. A bad course would be one that loses the user's interest within the first 2 or 3 videos. So one way that you can do this is you can design these topics to build upon each other, number one, but number two, to give previews of content in the further topics just to kind of entice them to stay along. And that's why you've heard me say multiple times, we'll talk about that in later lessons. We'll talk about that in the development lesson. We'll talk about that in the networking lesson, because I want to give you guys a little preview of what's coming down the road so that I can help to unlock those visions in the future that we're going to be reviewing in depth. So by the time you get there, you have a very solid understanding of how everything works and how it all works together. And not only by itself and the individual modules and what they do, but how everything works together inside of this app. Okay? So from here, we're going to do a quick review. If we click that settings button up at the top left-hand corner, this is going to open up our editor. This is basically your admin editor. So what we can do is we can turn on these individual buttons here. These are download links, which I'm going to turn them all on anyway because I like to have access to all of them if I need it. And then this filtering option here. And then again, beneath that, this quick add button, we want to undo the hiding of it. Let's click save, and then let's go back again, back into the topic. And there's our quick add button. Okay? Not only that, but it's got all of our other options. We can do inline editing for the topics after we create them, etc. And as we reviewed in the prior video, prior topic over lessons, you can create your topics here in a quick add setting so that you can kind of just get them out of your head and publish them real quick, and then later go back in and design them and then kind of put them together. But I have a good idea of what I want to do for this app, or I'm sorry, for this course. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dive into this course. Oops, I'm going to click the builder button. I'm going to go into the builder for this course. And there's the builder loaded up for us. And so we've already created a few of them. I'm going to remove the lesson there at the bottom. I'm going to update. So now we've got user experience, color and graphics, and advanced design. Well, what happened to user interface? Well, let's go back in here and check. There it is. So let's go ahead and double click it and click add, get out, and then let's move this one up to the top. See that little button with the up and down arrow on the left-hand side of each one of these topics, or each one of these lessons? You can go ahead and click that. I'm going to click remove on the other one. I'm going to click update because we didn't click update at the end before the end of the last video before we exited out of the app. So it didn't save it, but now it should be saved. So now we've got it updated. Double click it just to be sure. And then if you ever want to get rid of that little black bar that pops up, the confirmation bar, just tap it. It'll go away for you. But now what I need to do is I need to open up the user experience by clicking the down arrow on the right-hand side. And now I need to create some topics. So user experience, one of the first things that we have with this is a few different things, actually. Any user experience, good user experience in an app, just like you guys have experienced if you downloaded the app from the App Store, once you get into the app, you create your account, you automatically get an email to verify your account, you log in, and boom, you start to see all the content available inside the app. Not only that, there are some advanced features that you can put in place in the automations, which we'll talk about later in the lessons covering that in depth. But what we can do is we can create an experience that makes them feel that and feel like they've had that wow moment. And that's really what we want them to have, right? So maybe what we need to do is just break down, first of all, with user experience, we need to break down registration process. So let's add a new topic. We're going to call this one registration process. Add topic. Zoom out. There's the registration process. Now we have that topic inside the lesson. So we've got our first topic, we've got our first lesson. I'm going to click update. And then I'm going to add another topic. So we got registration process. Now the next thing that should happen is there should be a welcome sequence. Whether it's a series of emails, whether it's a series of text messages or push notifications that you automate from the network bot. If you have the elite access, you have the ability to automatically create friendships with users when they register as admin so that you can send automated messages to them. As admin, you don't have to have a connection with a user to send them messages, but in order for them to get the push notification, you have to be connected. So that auto friend or auto connect app that we have built out inside of your white label, that's a good setting to have activated if you want to be able to send push notifications via direct messages, etc., to your users after they log in. And you can pre-schedule those out. You could pre-schedule a welcome sequence for a month and a half if you wanted to. It's all dependent upon what type of user experience you're wanting to create. But just for all intents and purposes, this one will be welcome. Welcome sequence. Add topic. So now I've got registration process. I've got welcome sequence. Maybe we do, the third one after that would be, after the welcome sequence, we would do a series of maybe like incentivized offers. Right? So we can do incentivized returns, because the goal is to give them incentive to return back into the app to continue exploring it, right? So this is just the beginning of the user experience, the registration process, the welcome sequence, the incentivized returns. We're giving a step-by-step process for you guys to follow. So by the time you're watching this video, this course will already be available for you to start taking, and I highly recommend you go and do that, because it'll help you conceptualize not just the look and feel of the app, but also the psychology behind getting people to return into the app, right? Because if they don't come back into the app, how are you going to get your content in front of them? Push notifications are only good if it makes that person feel happy. So there are things that we can do in order to do that, which is we can gamify the experience. So maybe we do incentivized returns, and we'll do a gamification introduction. We'll just do a gamification. Let's do establish gamification. So in other words, what we want to do is we want to set the expectation that the user is going to have a fun experience using our app. But we have to first give them a proper registration and onboarding experience before we go in and start to incentivize them to come back. I put incentivized returns before establish gamification because we need to talk in depth about how to incentivize people to return to your app and the psychology behind a push notification, what's actually happening in that process, right? Now, these may change by the time you go to take this course, because I always go back and edit and change depending upon feedback, etc. But as an example, this is the process that you would take creating your own course. So after we've established gamification, then what we can do is we can do like unlocked content. Let's do unlock content. So when they first log into the app, there's a set of locked content that they can't access. Maybe it's lessons within a course. But there's also unlocked content that they have immediate access to. And then that would be the process that you would want to look at next after you've already established a good onboarding and a good gamification feeling for your app that sets an understanding, a baseline for the user and what they're going to experience while using your app. So let's do a few more here, and then you'll get the big picture, and we'll be able to move on to the next topic. But so add another topic here. We got lock unlock content. So this one would be, we could do educational series. So we're going to send an educational series to them via push, via text, via email. And then the next one, let's say, let's do, for this one, like for instance on Decyphor, we would want to do testimonials. So we'll do a testimonial sequence. And then maybe we want to do content polls. So we can send them through a poll to see what content they want. And based on their answers inside of that form, in the forms creation that we have inside the app, then you can assign tags to their account, to their profile, and then those tags can trigger other automated sequences that will deliver them content based on what they answered in the poll. Do you see how deep this can go? At some point, you're going to have to start thinking in levels of depth inside your app and how to take people through what we call workflows. There's an app out there that you may or may not have heard of. My client, Steve, he has an app called Flow Genius. And so what he's doing is he's creating an app where people who own businesses can basically get their own workflows pre-built, preset, pre-automated, everything already pre-integrated for them to go and either create an app for their business or onboard their users inside of Flow Genius underneath their own app and use that for push notification, text, and email sequences for user communication and client onboarding, things like that, which are workflows to help the client have a great experience with the business, okay? So at this point, let's take a look. We've got our registration process, welcome sequence, incentivize returns, establish gamification, lock and unlock content, educational series, testimonial sequence. We could do sequences here, so I'm going to put an S at the end of that. Testimonial sequences, content polls. Let's do one more here, and then we'll call it a day on this video. And we're gonna end this with the next one. Content polls. We'll do. Well, let's see here. We'll do showcase features. Add topic. So now inside of this user experience, we're going to set this to a certain cadence. They register, they get a welcome sequence, they then get incentivized returns, so they get emails and text messages and push notifications to come back on into the app. You're missing some great content, right? Then what we do is when they come back into the app, we reward them with gamification, so points or coins or tokens or gems or diamonds or whatever you want to call them inside your app. You can manage all of that through the gamification module, which we'll review in later lessons in depth. But what it does is it gives them the feeling that they're being rewarded for going back into the app, and those rewards, just like any other social media app out there, when you get a like or a comment or a love or a happy or a laugh or whatever on your content, what it does is it releases dopamine in the brain, and it gives you that feeling of euphoria. So even though it's digital content, if somebody's earning coins, we could then say, okay, now we can reward them with extra content inside of the app, and maybe you make a web fallback page where they can go in and get deeper insight, or maybe even get exclusive content they can't get outside of having a certain amount of coins. So we could say, hey, look, you've got 150 coins, you can access this private group for free. You don't have to pay to access it, and what it's going to do is X and Y. Okay? So that's the idea here, and once you have that gamification, then what you can do is you can control the locking and unlocking of content, either by tags or by them purchasing access. So for instance, courses or any in-app purchases, you could then tie to the gamification, the coins, tokens, whatever gems you decide to create can then be spent inside the app in order to unlock content. Then what you can do is you can send a series of emails and push notifications that link to educational content on how to use the app and why it's beneficial to use it. Oh, by the way, come and complete this course and we'll do X and Y. And you can get creative. Hey, we'll send you a free t-shirt if you complete this course. Why not? Right? So anything that you can do to incentivize them to return to your app, the best way for you to incentivize somebody to return to an app is for you to get them to use that app for their own purposes. So for instance, in RisePage, there's a series of free utilities people can take advantage of to set reminders, to sync schedules, to sync social media posts across platforms for themselves. But then for $9 a month, they can unlock access to all of it, and they can take advantage of text messaging, emailing, etc., without having to set up their own systems on the back end and go through the process of figuring all that out. It's kind of a low-tech access to high-tech content, high-tech software, where the average person can now go through that process and they can automate their lifestyle without having a bunch of tech knowledge and tech background. So take that for what it is. Once you get them into the educational series, it's a good time for you to start pumping in the testimonials and put them on sequences. So where you have, once they start an educational series of some kind, maybe they start a course and you have that starting of a course, then automatically trigger a preset 2 or 3 month pipeline of testimonial videos and blog posts and content all over the place that reviews users who have used your app and the results they're getting from it. Then you can do polls at any point in this process. You can pull them right at the beginning, you can pull them at the end, you can pull them in the middle. But you can take that feedback from those polls and either apply tags based on their responses to unlock content, or you can reward them for giving feedback inside the app and say, hey, come take this poll, let us know how we're doing, and we'll shoot you 100 free coins, and that's worth a coffee mug in the store, right? Get creative with it over time. And then again, last of all here, the showcase features. At any point in this process, you're really going to want to showcase what the app can do and why people need to be on it. That's the most important thing. Why would they come back to use it again? Well, you're coming back to Decyphor app, whether on desktop or mobile, to learn how to build your own app. Without this, you'd be lost. You wouldn't be able to go and build your own app. You'd just be like a fish swimming in the ocean who used to come from a water tank. It'd be too much, too big. You wouldn't really know what to go and do. But what this does is it breaks it down step by step. And as you go through these processes, you should be unlocking content and rewards. And you can use those to further your knowledge on how to manage your own native mobile app at this level and really create something special. And that's the goal with this, guys. At the end of the day, we want to see here at RisePage, we want to see you utilize Decyphor, the app development environment, for you to go and create your own fully custom experience native mobile app for your users. And we want to see you get funded. We want to see you go public. We want to help you get there. And all we are is the webmaster on the back to make sure you have the enterprise level technology to get you there, which you do. You're holding in your hands the same technology that any other big tech app is built with. React Native is the display in the front end of the app that loads instantaneously. The enterprise level server environment that you have to give this flawless, fast loading experience back and forth for your users. And then plus you've got our award-winning support on the back end to help you throughout the process. So take your time, dive into this before you go on to the next topic, because then we're going to start to get into quizzes and tests and things like that. But you first really need to understand how to create and build a properly designed course so that your users have a good experience inside of that course. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. I'm going to go down and I'm going to add some more topics in here from my phone after I end this. But by the time we come in to the next topic, we'll be ready to rock and roll, and we'll see you there on to the next topic.